Okay, for the next case study, we are going to look at a 50-year-old male, but funding for a much shorter time period. So the last case study, we looked at a 35-year-old male funding for 30 years up until retirement age. Here, we're going to take a look at the following. Age 50, funding with a larger amount of $100K per year, allocated into the policy for 10 years. Now, the purpose of this study is exactly the same as the last study. We've got our different splits here. So as we look at the different splits, the purpose is, one, which one gives me the most cash value immediately, but also long range when I'm looking at how to maximize long-term cash value, but also specifically when I look at the base premium, right? We've got the whole subject and topic of dividends being more favorable to the base premium, or the surplus rate. Everything above the guarantee is more favorable to the base premium as opposed to the PUA component. If you haven't watched our overview video, I would encourage you to watch that as we went through that specifically. But these splits, what they are referring to is if I have a 1090 and I'm paying in $100,000, that means I have a 10% or $10,000 premium. 2575 means I have a 25% or $25,000 base premium. Now, remember when we set up a policy, we always talk about having the ability to pay in. So this individual has the ability to pay up to $100,000 per year. So one thing to be aware of when we look at the different splits is if I have a 1090, or if it's a company that permits a lower split, because a lot of smaller companies will allow you to go as low as 397. We can construct designs like that, but we can easily commit to that minimum premium and have the ability to add more. So this way we're not getting a bill for $100,000 per year. So I want the ability to add X amount, 100K. So the higher the base premium, the higher the dividend, but also the higher the commitment. And then the true question is, which one gives me the strongest net cash value at the end of the day? And we're going to look at that based off of dividend assumptions and the guaranteed. We're going to break this up into two videos just so you don't have a super long case study here. But the last thing I'll touch on before we look at the numbers is with this example. So we're funding for a short period of time, 10 years here. And we get that a lot. An individual says, hey, at age 60, yeah, I might want to keep going, but hey, I want to shut it down. I don't want to have to keep paying forever. At that point in time, I want to pull income out, or my desire at this point in time in my life is not to pay into the policy for a long period of time. If someone has a desire to pay in for a long period of time, we can construct it to accommodate that. But having the ability to fund for a long period of time, but back to this point, funding for 10 years. We are going to look at what is called a premium offset. And then we are also going to look at what is called a reduced paid up option. And here's the difference between the two, or let's first describe what they are. A premium offset allows the dividends and interest on the policy to pay the minimum premium for me. So think of it this way. If I pay in $100K per year and my base premium is $10,000, once I hit year 11, if I'm executing a premium offset, that $10,000 premium is still due. However, I'm not paying it. I'm allowing the policy's dividends and interest to pay it for itself. Whereas a reduced paid up option slices the premium off. It eliminates it. Even if I want to continue to pay premium or PUAs into the policy, I cannot do so. So I'll often refer to that as cutting the drag, but why we're going to look at both is this guy will have a bigger impact on your dividends when we actually study the numbers. So in this first case study here, the first section of this case study, we're going to focus on the premium offset and reduced paid up option. And then the second option, or the second video, we'll look at the guarantees. So we're gonna look at the dividends here. Here we go. So we've got our spreadsheet, which I love so much. If you'd like the full analysis with the detailed ledgers from the actual insurance company, let us know. We'll have this available in our agent training program, the full case study, because this is stuff typically we'll go over in agent trainings. Or if you are a policyholder, if you have a policy with us, let us know. We can certainly send you as well if you're interested in that. So what we've got here, one thing I just wanted to distinguish, because this question comes up and in the request as far as comparing everything, we wanted to look at this, is with the 25-75, 33-67, and 50-50, we have standard 7-year term riders. That means it's a standard level term rider, cut it off after 7 years. Whereas the 1090 split with this particular insurance company, if you want the ability to 10x your base premium, a 1-year term blended PUA rider is required. Now, we did do a separate video on that where we went through that in a full analysis. It's interesting, though. We're going to look at this based off of the current dividend rate and current insurance expenses, and then also the guaranteed rate and the maximum charges the company can implement for that actual term rider. And you'll see it always ends up producing more cash value, which is interesting. But we're going to look at this comparison here, and we can use a OYT for these guys as well. Now, here's what I'm interested in. So right off the bat, I pay in, if it's $100,000, whether I want to access that money or I just want to see some of my money available in cash value. There's the immediate difference. 1090, I've got 88% of my payment showing up in cash value. 50-50, I've got 50%, $50,000. The other guys, you see the ratios follow a consistency here. 25-75, got just about 75,000 in cash value. Here I've got 66K. So obviously, the lower you drive that base premium, remember the base premium, what happens with that? In the first year, first and second usually with this product, it's just the first year, the insurance company is going to overcharge me for the cost of insurance or death benefit up front. Specifically, what that means is if I have a $10,000 base premium here, that's not showing up in cash value in the first year. If I have a $33,000 base premium in this example, that's not showing up in cash value in the first year. Why these figures are a little bit lower than the base premium is because I have the term riders attached as well. On these two, the term rider ended up being less than 1%. It's a couple $100. But why the difference in equity with the different splits has to do with the base premium. The company's overcharging me for that in the beginning of the policy. Beginning year 2, you see I pay 100 in, 10,000 of that 100,000 is base premium. Cash value grows by a little bit more than $100,000 here. I pay in a total of 100, it grows from 88 to 189. The reason why is my base premium, the 10,000, is now coming back to work for me. Same thing in all of these examples. Look at the 25-75, grows from 73 to 174. Even in the 50-50, it grows from 50 to 152. So beginning year 2, when that minimum premium's coming back to work for me, starts to pick up the pace. That's good. Now, the purpose of this study here is really to look at the dividends, because the higher the base premium, the higher the dividend payout. The dividends are not guaranteed, though. Keep that in mind. Let's check it out. Year 2, when the company starts to pay dividends, which option has the highest dividend? 1090 is low, 37. 50-50 is 14,125. That's substantial. The dividend payout on the 50-50 split compared to the 1090. Even if we look at the other two, the 25-75 is double, and then I get even higher with the 33-67. I'm at about a $10,000 dividend as opposed to a $3,700 dividend payout here. Same insurance product, same insurance company, same health rating, everything is exact here except for the ratios on the actual policy. Now, what I will add, in case you haven't seen our overview video, is I have a guaranteed rate of 4%, a total dividend of 565 in this study. So what that means, this dividend column on these illustrations is reflective of the surplus only. The surplus is 1.65%, the difference between the guaranteed rate and the total dividend rate. Let's continue. So, much higher dividend, but year 2, which one gives me the most cash? Yeah, I've got a 4 times a higher dividend over here, but what is that? $35,000 less in net cash value. The net cash value is the column you want to look at. That's your equity. That's what you have access to. So time passes. Let's look at year 10 at the end of the funding. Dividend, 1090, 12,000. All of the other guys, substantially more. 2575, 15.5. 3367, almost 18K. 22,000 over here. But then if you want to zoom into the cash values, what do you have? So we've got substantially more in cash value on the 1090 compared to the other guys. The reason why is I'm out of the gates faster. Meaning that guaranteed rate, remember, begins to accumulate on everything. Base premium cash value and PUA cash value in the exact same manner. So I'm out of the gate faster, compounding faster. That's what I want. And you are still earning dividends on PUA payments. So that's going to continue to occur no matter what. So this is the premium offset option. So what this means, you're going to see a difference when you look at the dividends, the dividend column. But with the premium offset option, you're not going to see a reduction in the dividend. It continues to climb up on all of the examples. Where do we want to look? Let's look 30 years down the road. Because we often hear the saying that one wants a higher base premium because it will result in stronger long-term cash value because you'll get a higher dividend on that. Well, we want to look at the net cash values. That's the thing. You know, I'll sometimes say, I don't care if the dividend is 1,000%. I want to see what the net cash value is and what is the end outcome there. And that is exactly what corporations look at. You know, corporation says, okay, that dividend payout is great, but we're concerned about the asset on the balance sheet. Which one gives me the most from start to finish, especially on the guaranteed side? And we'll look at that study in our next video, the guaranteed cash values, that is. But here we go. Even though the dividends are higher, you see a significant difference in cash value here. I mean, if we look at, let's pick the first and the third. Year 30, 1090, so we're looking long range here. Almost 2.4 million. Over here with the 33, 67, 2.1. So you're at about almost a $240,000 difference. So even if dividends go up, which for the next 10 years, that is likely not going to happen, and I state that based off of my conversation with insurance companies, they're not feeling that's going to happen at all for the next 10 years. So let's assume they stay exactly where they're at for 10 years, or perhaps come down a bit, which we feel is going to happen, and then eventually climb back up. 30 years, how much are they going to have to skyrocket in order for this to be another $240,000 more? Quite a bit. That's the thing. And the whole idea of the MEC test, we've got separate videos that are coming that support this case study. We don't run into a MEC, or there's no risk of any of a MEC occurring in any of these scenarios. That's just understanding the MEC laws and how that actually works. So time continues to pass. If we go all the way down, so we're looking at almost 100 years old. And if we want to look at generational wealth, we can look at 100, but let's look at 85 and 90. Cash value, but look at my death benefit. Which one gives me the most? Look at that. Now, what I just want to mention here is this is not me saying this is the only option to go with. Depending on the insurance company, if I wanted to pay in $100K for a long period of time with this particular company, it's difficult to do with the 1090 split. We've put in force 2575s when we've analyzed all the situations, tried to maximize everything, understand the product, what our goals are, and if it makes sense to go with the higher split because I prefer a particular insurance company, as we look at several options, we'll do that. It's more so if I'm the consumer and I see everything up front, I understand the benefits, pros and cons, what can potentially trigger a MEC, all that good stuff, well then I can select the option I want and not have buyer's remorse down the road. That's really the name of the game. I don't want to get something and then find out after the fact it could have been done differently. Let's look at the reduced paid up. So this is the exact same policy, only we're going to look at the reduced paid up here. Forgot to highlight the break-evens, but I'm trying to focus more on the long-term cash value here. But if you want to know the break-evens, I mean, the lower the premium, the earlier the break-even. You're going to see that. So you have more equity up front. And my whole pitch is, how do I maximize flexibility, but also how do I have my cash value up front and have it long-term? We're not saying give it up long-term. I wouldn't want to do that either. That's the key here. Here's the interesting piece. So year 11 on this example, we executed a reduced paid up. So focusing on the dividends, get back on track, Steve, focusing on the dividends. Through year 10, you see consistency. The higher the base premium, the higher the dividend payout, but not the higher the net cash value. Now, once we execute the reduced paid up, the key difference is here, 50-50 at a 50K premium. Here you had a 33K base, 25K, 10K. Reduced paid up eliminates them all, doesn't exist. So you chop the base premium off, the death benefit drops as a result. This is going to optimize cash value growth. If you compare this to the premium offset, especially in the guarantees, is that'll be the case. But the thing to be aware of whenever we look at a reduced paid up is once you take that step, this is an after the fact change too. We don't declare this when we first start a policy. But once we take that step, there's no turning back. Meaning if we go reduced paid up, we eliminate the premium. I can borrow and repay from the policy all day long, but what I cannot do is add more premium and PUA payments. The policy's paid up, continues to grow nicely, but I can't add more. Some people love that. They have a lump sum of money, they get it in quick and then stop. Some people are attracted to that idea. Some people hate that and want to continue to pay into the policy for a long time. And that's why we look at the options. I mean, it's good to see the options. So what a reduced paid up does from a mechanical standpoint, it's kind of level the playing field. And here's what I mean. In the full study, we really go into detail in this. But look what happens to your dividends. They're all even. It's kind of flip-flopped. Where the lower base premium example, the premiums are gone now, has the highest dividend and continues to have the highest dividend. Why is that? This is the kind of stuff we cover in our agent training. You know, if we were working with someone, maybe they're an engineer, IT professional, and they want to know those details. Rightfully so, it's your money you're putting in and you want to maximize it. The reason for this is once you eliminate the premium, in a sense, you level the playing field. Because we had the exact same product and every company, all that good stuff with this case study. But when the premium is gone, the company is going to look at, okay, your policy's paid up based off of how much cash value you have in there. It's going to purchase you a certain amount of death benefit. And the policy with more cash value, when we execute a reduced paid up, naturally will have the end result of a higher death benefit and cash value for that matter. Meaning when we finally execute the reduced pay up, you will see a drop, but the example with more cash is going to result in a higher death benefit. So when you compare this to the other guys, that's why we see more over here. Again, on the topic of maximizing cash value. So time passes, right? Same thing. If we want to look at age 85, if we're looking at the long-term performance, here we go. 2985, 2885, 2854, 2775. Same product, same company. Again, if you want the full case study, reach out to us if you have a policy through us or our program covers that in detail. But hope this one helps. We are going to touch on the guarantees next. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.